You just had all this time, because I wasn't involved in any of the technical aspects, to kind of come up with more gags, you know? So it was like, I remember we were in a field and we saw some cows, and that's where the near far away thing came from, you know?
Maybe the most famous joke.
Which has become the big joke of the show.
So the audience can't see that yet. That main is what the audience see. It's also interesting when as soon as you cut to it that you get a laugh. I don't know why.
5 seconds. 4, 3.
Plastic cows on a priest's table is funny. Isn't
Okay, one last time.
These are small, but the ones out there are far away.
I love the wave, where the laughter's in a wave. It takes a few seconds. You know.
Small, far away. Ah, forget it.
We just wanted to create this kind of odd world that was outside of everything. And then we felt that we could have a free rein. We wanted to make an Irish sitcom with all the kind of insanity of the young ones and the cleverness of Blackadder and the kind of farce elements of Fawlty Towers, you know? These were the things that we grew up loving.
But also all that Irish madness.
That's what gave us our voice, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Just move it over here. It's what, 6 feet?
God, it's lovely out.
Craggy Island had to look bleak and remote, and the last place on earth you want to be stuck, isn't it? Guys were never into pretty. The guys were never into let's have it looking beautiful and stuff like that. It had to be a bit shit, you know. It had to be a bit cold and damp and miserable, and a place you just didn't want to hang out in for very long.
But yeah, this is like, you know, if you're going to have a picnic on Craggy Island, then you want to find the most inhospitable kind of landscape you can find. So this is perfect, really. It's almost like this was Ted's best bet.
From top, is it?
And roll, please.
Great. Here we go.
It was shot, I'd say, a little bit crudely, just nature of the beast, the amount of stuff we had to get through.
This is my fuppin' spot. Get the fuck off.
There would be times on location when, you know, I know the cameraman would like another 10 minutes to light it, and I go, it's not going to get any funnier. And also with the guys, they come out in the rehearsal scene in the cold. It's kind of funny. You better shoot it the next time, because you're going to make them rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it. By the time you shoot it, it's not going to be funny anymore. And particularly those guys, because they weren't actors, it was good the first 2 or 3 times. That's why you rarely see us going past 3 or 4 takes.
I guess Frank and Pauline had more acting experience, and myself and Dermot, we were coming from strictly a comedy background. Certainly to begin with, I wouldn't have been a very confident or assertive person. But I think I had an inner confidence, like just in terms of trusting my instincts to some degree. I used to kind of zone out a bit about a half an hour before the recording and kind of become Dougal in a way, but not in any kind of, methody kind of way. It's funny, once you put on the costume, once you put on the gear, I used to become Dougal.
I suppose the surprise from someone from the outside looking in would be that actually Frank was an actor. So he had the Irish Times crossword and, all those actor-y type things.
I used to look at myself in the mirror and say, geez, who's that,
He had the pus coming out of his ears and one milky eye and stuff in his nose and odd lesions and things going on.
You didn't want to get beside Frank Kelly at breakfast after he'd been made up, because bits of these flakes would start to sort of drop off. And if they landed on your toast...
Jack is basically the kind of really evil, unpleasant side of the church, the side that all our dads would have stories about being beaten up by someone like Jack, That was our little tribute to that kind of scumbag.
Mrs. Doyle, you left the cooker on.
All right, Father, I'll be there in a sec.
I met this lady once who was talking about Ted, and she said, there's not much for women in it, is there? I thought, well, yeah, there is. There's Mrs. Doyle. She's one of the best female characters in comedy.
Hello, fathers.
Hello, Mrs. Doyle.
Too often in comedies, you see female characters, and their only comic characteristic is that they're commenting on how silly the men are being. And we didn't want that. We wanted a female character who's funny in herself, who had a very strong comic personality, and that's going to be negative.
Out. Get out, Ardal. Get out, Ardal.
You know, for Dermot, you know, he's never had to do a script. He's never had to go out and perform a script, kind of word for word, as somebody else has written it. So the burden, if you like, of being an actor was actually quite a big one for him, you know.
Father O'Rourke has that house. Ah, fuck, sorry.
We were all very sympathetic to the load that Dermot had, because Dermot had an enormous number of lines to learn, which I didn't think at the beginning he would be capable of, because he wasn't trained as an actor, he hadn't experience.
And of course, things often go wrong, as you know, and when you're doing a live show. And that's when Dermot really came into his own, because he was the master of stand-up.
During breaks in the recording, or when we were going from scene to scene, he'd start messing around with the audience and everything like that. And sometimes he'd try and pull me into that, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't come out of the kind of mindset I was in, because I think it would have spoilt it for me and for the audience as well.
How to pull an altar boy, all that sort of stuff. With one finger.
I did have a bit of a comedy crush on you, though. I did. I felt giddy when you were around.
Stop it.
No, it's true, because you were so funny.
It was a synthesis of two different kinds of people. The kind of youthful, terrific enthusiasm of Graham, and Arthur's kind of older wisdom.
It's just a really good dynamic, you know,
but
for
also
comedy
it
writing.
wasn't like, I don't think it's like the chalk and cheese thing. I think Graham and myself had the same sense of humour.
I think that synthesis is what produced the chemistry of what makes Father Ted a success.
There is the house, the Craggy Island house.
God, I feel oddly excited.
Yeah, it's great to see it again.
Yeah.
So, hello, house. It's bigger than I remember.
This is the Ted house, but it's probably only the Ted house from the outside. Once you get inside, it's very different, I think you'll find.
Let's see who's in. There's nobody here.
Hello, Cheryl.
Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Do you mind if we invade? Just
Oh,
for,
yeah.
We'll have a look around.
Lovely to see you.
Good to see you again.
Should we go in here?
Do, yeah. Come on in for a cup of tea.
Kind of life change, really, isn't it? To suddenly be running
Oh,
a
yeah.
tourist attraction.
But there's many people coming as used to come.
Oh, my God. Honest to God. There really is. Honestly, I can't lie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is non-stop. Like, you wouldn't walk around in your undies and your bra.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
You know? But I had so many people at the gate, right?
Yeah.
So I said, what would I do?
Yeah.
So I said, oh, maybe I'll make a little tea room. So that's what I've started. So I have people booked in at 5. There, okay.
Hello there.
Hi,
Hello.
David. Hi.
Hello.
Who are we?
Hiya.
Hello.
I had drivers of
Father Ted, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
very
yeah.
good. Super.
We live here all the time. We've never left.
Why did you want to see the house?
The kids just, you know, they've seen on telly, I suppose, it's the same as...
watch it. I don't get it.
Good for you. Good for you.
You're not supposed to get it.
I just ignored it. You know?
What did you say?
There she is now. There she is now. Come on, let's just
I'm
walk
gonna
over
ask
here.
her why she doesn't like.
Let's just walk over
I'm
here.
gonna ask her why she doesn't like what kind of program she likes.
Yeah. You're here just to see the house? Yeah. Right. Where are you all from? Australia. Australia, really? Wow.
The production company definitely didn't fly you over especially. Just to fool
This
us.
is a flake, absolute flake.
Just to make us look good.
See that little girl? She doesn't like the show.
She rails against it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what to do. Revenge.